Listen to Salesian News podcast on www.anchor.fm/boscom. Get weekly summaries of Salesian news from Don Bosco's family in Asia Oceania, comprising of priests, brothers, sisters, cooperators, and alumni. I am your host, RJ Brian of Radio Salesian 90.8 FM from Salesian College, Sonada, Shillong. Be sure to hear me on Salesian News podcast on www.anchor.fm/boscom. Listen anytime from anywhere. Listen to Salesian News podcast on www.anchor.fm/boscom. Get weekly summaries of Salesian news from Don Bosco's family in Asia Oceania, comprising of priests, brothers, sisters, cooperators, and alumni. I am your host, RJ Brian of Radio Salesian 90.8 FM from Salesian College, Sonada, Shillong. Be sure to hear me on Salesian News podcast on www.anchor.fm/boscom. Listen anytime from anywhere. Listen to Salesian News podcast on www.anchor.fm/boscom. Get weekly summaries of Salesian news from Don Bosco's family in Asia Oceania, comprising of priests, brothers, sisters, cooperators, and alumni. I am your host, RJ Brian of Radio Salesian 90.8 FM from Salesian College, Sonada, Shillong. Be sure to hear me on Salesian News podcast on www.anchor.fm/boscom. Listen anytime from anywhere. Listen to Salesian.
Hello and welcome. You are watching Don Bosco Media Network. I am Deepika Lingdo, bringing to you the Salesian news across the globe. The Syrian Civil War represents one of the worst humanitarian crises of our time. The population has shrunk from 21 million to 17, and today 13 million people are in urgent need of humanitarian support, including the more than 6 million internally displaced people, 28% of whom are in the capital Damascus alone, in addition to the 3 million who live in hard-to-reach areas. Furthermore, since mid-March, the Syrian government has begun to apply severe restriction measures to contain the spread of COVID-19. Missionaries, pastors, animators, architects. There is no single definition that can collect and define the four Salesian priests, Italio Spagnolo, Vincenzo Marone, Vincenzo Gorgon, and Gaetano Urso, who have died prematurely in recent days, apart from being true sons of Don Bosco. Because from Piedmont to Sicily to Africa, their work consisted in living the grace of unity, the love for God lived in the service of the younger brothers. Darkhan Oratory in Mongolia is actually the first activity of the Salesian missions in Darkhan city, where the first two Salesians reached Darkhan in April 2005. One of them was Father Andrew Nguyen Trung Tin, who today tells about the Salesian missions in the land. On the 1st of December, the Vatican's Dicastery for Promoting Integral Human Development announced the launch of a special website dedicated to the encyclical of Pope Francis, Fratelli Tutti. Created with the collaboration of the Dicastery for Communication, the website aims to spread the encyclical's message on fraternity and social friendship in a widespread manner, deepening and making known all the aspects of the text and the magisterium of the Holy Father. Today, with the same aim on the initiative of the Pontifical Lateran University, an online seminar is also taking place entitled Fratelli Tutti, an encyclical beyond the time of crisis. The 12th National Congress of the Salesian Youth Movement (SYM) of Peru took place in a family atmosphere. Its motto, "We are the Now of God." The event took place on the Zoom platform from 20th to 22nd November and saw the participation of the SYM groups of the Slation and the Daughters of Mary Help of Christians FMA. The Congress was held with the aim of strengthening SYM's identity in the context of a rethink as a way to discern this Christian vocation and live it boldly in the church and in the world. A space to foster the bonds of unity, especially in this crucial national historical context. Also, the SYM path at national and local level was evaluated with a space for discernment and decision-making for the reconstruction of the SYM in the light of synodality. The new National Council was also elected. The event was attended by Sister Elsie Nunes, FMA Provincial of Peru, Jessica Chambila, one of the first SYM coordinators, and Father Manuel Cayo, Provincial of the Salesians in Peru. "40 years ago, the Polish Salesian missionaries embarked on Project Africa. Today, 2 young Salesians from Zambia and Malawi went for the first time to the Warsaw Province PLE. Bawalia and Godfrey will do their formation in the Salesian community of Lodz, where the Salesian schools are located. They will learn the Polish language, culture and history and share the missionary story of their life with the young people and the Salesians. The Salesians of the Warsaw Province hope that this period will be for the 2 young Salesians a fruitful formation in the Salesian vocation and a new opening for the PLE province to the great missionary need of the Salesian congregation. December 2nd is the International Day for the Abolition of Slavery, established on this date to commemorate December 2nd, 1949, the date of approval by the General Assembly of the United Nations Convention for the Suppression of the Traffic in Persons and of the Exploitation of the Prostitutions of Others. Unfortunately, it is currently estimated that more than 40 million people are forced into slavery and that 1 in 4 victims is a child. In the world, the Salesians are committed to the fight against any form of oppression which represents an intolerable violation of human rights and fundamental freedoms. On the feast of St. Andrew the Apostle, Salesian brother Andrew Pham That Hoi celebrated his patron saint and golden jubilee of religious profession. Father Joseph Nguyen Nguyen Van Nguyen, the provincial of the Vietnam province, presided at the Holy Mass. As the year draws to an end, the 3 oratory centres, Bomana, Ketu and Neberi, situated on the outskirts of Port Moresby, with over 250 oratorians with several parents and guardians, came together to close up the year's Sunday oratory activities at Neberi village. The 3 oratory centres were organised and facilitated by the aspirants of Savio House Bomana, with Brother Peter Kai as the coordinator. The aspirants of Savio House Bomana, together with a few volunteers from Don Bosco Technological Institute, organised a program from 9 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. On 25th November, a day when the Salesians of Don Bosco celebrate the memory of Mama Margaret and pray for the deceased parents of the Salesians, was the day of solemn blessing and inauguration of the Garden of Light, containing the Via Lucis and the names of the deceased Salesian who laboured in Lonavala. The brainchild of Mumbai Salesians vocation animator, Father Velaslil Bandia and Brother Alistair D'Souza, the entire area including the tombs of Father Kajitan Lobo, Father Moro Casarotti and Brother P.M. Thomas were beautified with the clearing of shrubs and relaying of a garden and plants. Well, dear viewers, that is all we have for you today. Until we meet again, thank you for watching.
Listen to Salesian News podcast on www.anchor.fm/boscom. Get weekly summaries of Salesian news from Don Bosco's family in Asia Oceania, comprising of priests, brothers, sisters, cooperators, and alumni. I am your host, RJ Brian of Radio Salesian 90.8 FM from Salesian College, Sonada, Shillong. Be sure to hear me on Salesian News Podcast on www.anchor.fm/boscom. Listen anytime from anywhere.